folks, I'm Tom Basso. Welcome to Week in Review. This is where we go back over all the different videos we did over the past week. In the description here, we'll have a link to the full review. So you're like, that sounds interesting. You can click it and you're like, I don't want to hear about that. Then you can not click it. Are you ready? Let's get going.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. So last week I reviewed Haben Gut, which is a stock market, stock manipulation game. One of the simplest ones I've ever played, also one of the better ones I've ever played. Because it really reduces everything to the main nuts and bolts of what you're doing. And you have some shared knowledge with the players next to you, which is a really neat mechanism. I like this one a lot for what it is. I'll say it that way, because I'm not a big stock market person. I don't generally like that genre. But I like this game a lot, and so if you are a fan, kick this number up by quite a bit, okay? I reviewed a solitaire game called Arkham Noir, based, of course, on H.P. Lovecraft writings. It's pretty neat. It's got a lot of little moving parts. It's a little tricky to learn how to get a good flow going, but I do like what you're doing in it, and it's got great artwork, an interesting idea going on, you know. And I just thought it was a clever amount of game and a good game in a tiny little package. So Arkham Noir for one player. I reviewed Choose Your Own Adventure House of Danger, which it takes the books, you know, Choose Your Own Adventure ideas, and puts them in a board game in probably the best way I've seen something translated to a board game. It feels like you're playing the book. Mechanisms are very simple. The choices are, again, like in the book, largely random. There's few mechanisms at play here, but what is there is interesting, keeps the story going, keeps the silliness, you know, and then the sort of goofy choices high. So I like it. It's a good implementation of what they were going for, and they did that well. And then lastly, I reviewed King Domino Age of Giants, which is an expansion to King Domino, also Queen Domino. And it adds Giant, of course, and they are sort of a take that idea. You are going to be having to take these Giants, they're going to block some scoring for you, but you can also, assuming you draft the right tile, send the Giants to other players and mess them over. So it's one I would certainly recommend. I think it's a very engaging and interesting expansion, but, you know, maybe look at it twice if you don't like confrontation in your games. The other thing in it, which I think is brilliant anyway, is there's specific goals that you can score points from as well as everything that was in the base game. And that's really fun. So it's a great expansion, King Domino Age of Giants. And that's it for me. I will see you all next week.
Hey folks, welcome back to another Week in Review. Did 3 reviews and a couple other different kinds of videos for you this week. The first review is for Shark Island. This is a game by Richard Launius and Pete Shirey, put out by Upper Deck Entertainment, and it is basically a game where one player is going to be taking on the role of a shark that is trying to terrorize an island, and the other players are trying to stop him from doing so. And of course, whichever side is the first team to win wins. But it is very lucky. It is also very fun because it's just one of those games that you have to go into it thinking it's going to be a random fest, it's going to be a luck fest, but let's just have fun with the theme and go with it. And that's exactly what they have created there. So I gave this one a 7 out of 10. Go check out the review for how it plays and all that other kind of stuff. Also did a review for an expansion for Exodus Proxima Centauri called Event Horizon. Now this is a 10 module expansion that allows you to pick and choose which modules you're going to add into your game. Highly recommend not using all of them at the same time. That just convolutes the game, kind of, and it's just a headache. But there's a lot of good modules in this expansion, and on their own or coupled with one of the other modules or something to that effect, really make the game shine a lot. So go check that out. Gave it a 7 out of 10 as well. And then I also did a review for Village Attacks. Now, Village Attacks is a all versus one. Actually, it's a cooperative game because the villagers are attacking a monster's castle, and the monsters are trying to defend the castle from those villager hordes. And so it's basically a cooperative game, kind of like a scoped-in tower defense game, really. Gave this one an 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed this one a lot. So go check that one out as well. Also did a live Q&A last week where the Overarching theme was to buy or not to buy, not just games, but accessories for games, blinging out your game, all this other kind of stuff, expansions. So that was an interesting conversation, I thought, as well as some questions that were interspersed throughout that. So go check that out. And then I also did a live painting session. Vernon Piper and I are going to be painting a copy of A Song of Ice and Fire that was auctioned off by Simon at the Jack Vowles Memorial Fund at Dice Tower Con this year. And so I'm going to be painting the Starks, and Vernon is going to be painting the Lannisters. And so this is kind of the first video, kind of an introductory thing where I'm just kind of getting started with that project. So go check that out, and that's it from me. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side.
All right, for me, first of all, Hexpanse. This was a game that I did not like at all. It has really photoshopped bad artwork in some parts. I mean, a lot of the game looks good. It's this big space game, but it's essentially like a tic-tac-toe, advanced tic-tac-toe, where you're putting tiles around the board, kind of can go on forever, back and forth. I take a spot, you take a spot back. Did not like it. Zumaka. This is a game in which you are trying to get a zoo, which is a nice little theme, I guess. The card artwork is okay, but essentially it's just a big take-that game and wasn't very enjoyable. Timberman is an 8-bit graphic game because, we so need so many of those. But that's not my problem with the game. My problem with the game is just that it's kind of boring. It's an area control game with only a few pieces to area control. And again, some more take that. There wasn't anything exciting about it. Most Wanted. This is from North Star Games. This is a poker-style game, although they really dumbed down the poker part. So I think there's going to be a lot of people out there like it. I thought it was okay, but I think a lot of people will enjoy it. It can play to a lot of players, and you're basically just playing a lot of poker hands and trying to win points. Ranking is an older game that I found that I really enjoyed, where you are basically ranking things and trying to sneak the thing that you put down for a category to the top. Yeah, it's neat if you can find it. Lightseekers. I took a look at this trading card game. This is very popular right now. I don't think I love it, and I think I like it better when you build your own decks as opposed to the starting decks, but it is interesting, certainly easy and fast and bright and colorful. Orc Olympics is a drafting game where you are going to be drafting a team of fantasy athletes to participate in the Olympics. It's a very quick game. You draft some cards and then you play them, but you're trying to draft the right cards to play in the right things. You can't have everything. You have to make some tough decisions of when to enter an event and when not to. Pretty cool little game. Legends of the Mist. Now this game has a few small, I call them Kickstarter-y problems, and the artwork in the game I find okay, but it has some really neat ideas, has some pretty cool components as you move around on different tiles and use dice to get actions, and then collect more dice that give you more variety of the actions you can take. Pretty neat ideas. Axio. This is actually a sequel to Reiner Knizia's Ingenious. When I saw it, I was like, the components aren't as good as Ingenious, but I think the gameplay is actually better, especially with the new pyramid rule they have, where you're scoring and you're placing tiles on the board, trying to get points in different colors, and your lowest color score is your final score. A great little abstract game. Near and Far Amber Mines. This is a cool little expansion to Near and Far, which is one of my favorite games ever. It adds Amber Mines, which changes the mining action to something more robust, adds a few more stories for your main book, adds magic, adds new encounters. There's a lot of different modules it adds, and most of those I will always use. Santo Domingo. This is a small little game which just was really great. As you each play a card, each turn players play a card, flip them over, see what happens. What you play will affect what others do as you get points and goods. Again, it's very small, and you can't play your card again until you play a card that lets you pick them all up. So you're trying to outthink everybody else. Just was a great little game. Also, as the week went by, I gave an overview, a preview of Good Critters, which is the newest game in the Dice Tower Essentials line. It's a remaking of Tief Taschen, a game I like a lot, coming out at GenCon. Also, there's a lot of stuff from Dice Tower Con, a lot of different panels, some really excellent panels and things that we've recorded. So many of those were posted over the past week. Sam, me, and Z did our top 10 games that we're looking forward to at GenCon. And we also did a live play of Empires of the Void 2, and Ryan Lockett himself came and taught that to us. We had a lot of fun. If you want to see how the game plays and see someone finally win a game, go check that out. I guess that's spoilers, but whatever, I don't care. All right, well, that's it for another week in review. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.